2023 wasn't a good year for the Carolina Panthers, but I'm trying to make 2024 a better one for myself. Get started on your resolutions with Factor so you're ready for the new year. Factor's ready-to-eat meal delivery takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success in the new year. Skip the grocery stores, prep work, and cooking fatigue. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. With over 35 meals to choose from per week, including keto options, calorie smart, vegan plus veggie, and more, plus over 55 weekly add-ons, you'll have a ton of nutritious and flavorful options to kickstart your resolutions. Skip that overpriced takeout trap. Factor is cheaper and way more delicious than takeout. Get chef-crafted, restaurant-quality meals delivered right to your door, and they're ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes, which means more time for you. Head to factormeals.com/C350 and use the promo code C350 to get 50% off. That's code C350 at factormeals.com/C350 to get 50% off.
Looking for a fun way to win up to 25 times your money this basketball season? Test your skills on Prize Picks, the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projected stats, and place your entry. You could turn $10 into $250. Right now, Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100. Just visit prizepicks.com/fan and use code FAN. That's code FAN at prizepicks.com/fan.
Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
All right. It's the C3 Panthers podcast. It's the longest running Panthers podcast there is. That's right. Everybody else quits. We stay alive. And you know what we do? We just hang out together on Tuesday nights, hanging out with my homeboys, talking the latest Panthers news and opinions. And I do it with my best buddies. That's right. Cody Lashley in the house. What's up, my friend?
Tony Dunn, what's up, brother? We're getting closer and closer to football. We're inching closer and closer. I'm pumped about it, man. As usual on a Tuesday night, there's nowhere I'd rather be than hanging out with you guys and chilling with the most lit Panther fans in all of YouTube, in our YouTube chat. Scott Thomas, 10 Tizzy, Susan Deans with an early $25 love bomb. We love you, Den Mama. Thanks you so much. Ben S., Underground West, 10 Tizzy, Supreme Litter, Antoine Henderson, Shake and Bake, Trill 1, Tony Dunn. It's lit out here, bro. Ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
Holy cow, we got Codizzle Allen in the house. What's up, CK?
You know, just having a ball, having a blast, just trying to push to grow this daggone stream a little bit. But, you know, what's a reality that we just cannot fathom? Football's right around the corner, bro.
How close around the corner? And look, I bet you I just blew your ears out. I just blew your ears out, folks. But how close is football? We should be going into right now, I guess, the final week of the preseason, correct?
Yeah.
So
but it is
we're not.
September 13th is our game against the Raiders.
Dude, that's 13 days away, bro. That's
Think
insane.
about that. Less than 2 weeks, bro.
NFL football. Dude, it's going to be weird even sitting in front of the TV, knowing that I'm watching football. It feels like a lifetime since I've watched NFL football, man. Like, it's just crazy, man. It's such a much-needed return, dude. We need football so bad.
All right, so we are 13 days away from football, right? Except for we haven't seen football. We don't know what our team looks like. And we don't even know who we are. The Carolina Panthers enter the 2020 season of COVID uncertainty with the most uncertainty you could ever imagine. A new coaching staff. The only thing that we know that is stable right now is that we have an owner for over a year at this point, right? A new coaching staff, entirely top to bottom, a roster top to bottom, it feels like, right? So where are we? We don't know. We would have been playing the New England Patriots last week. We would have been going into week 4 of the preseason. This is generally in the past. 2 years ago, the rules were this, is that you had a 90-man roster, right? And then you had to cut it down to 75, and then you had to cut it down to 53. They changed the rules last year, so where you just had to go 90 to 53, right? So because in that final, the argument for NFL owners or coaches was ultimately this, is that why do we have to cut all these players and then play a 4th preseason game with guys that we really want to play, right?
Yeah.
So right now, though, I don't even know where we're at. We have not had any cuts, right? No cuts. We don't even,
cuts.
All of a
That's
sudden in 2 weeks, we will be playing football, and I don't even know who our team is, really.
Yeah. No, we don't even. We typically have like a darling of training camp. We have, oh man, but we have no news coming out except for everything that is Panthers directed. It's really quite uncertain about this season because you want to be excited. You want to be able to have any sort of hope that we're going to be able to pull something out of our asses, but you just don't know, man. You just don't know.
We don't.
The number's 252-228-5098. We'd ask you to go ahead and smash that thumbs up button on YouTube. My man Cody shouted all y'all out, and I expect every one of you who he said his name to smash that thumbs up button. Subscribe.
And the ones that didn't, like Travis Armstrong, Matt Knows Nothing, Sarah Taylor, I see you in there. Hey, how about one of the founders, Joe Riolano himself, chilling in the chat room?
Pound that thumbs up, homie.
Yo.
Pound that thumbs up.
Thumbs up for Joey, man. That's what we need right now.
All right, so okay, let's talk about this. Is that I don't even know what to talk about right now. If you look around the NFL, the most news is not even about the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
The news is about Leonard Fournette getting cut. Released.
Now Kamara, too.
What?
Well, he's not. Have you seen the news?
He's missed practice.
Okay. Don't say he got cut, bro. He's on my. He's my fan.
They're trying to trade him. They're trying to trade him away.
Yeah, their goal right now, he's trying to get for a better contract at this point.
Of course he is. He's trying to get a contract.
They're saying that he wants C-Mac money. He wants McCaffrey. That's what I've read all day on Twitter. He wants to be paid.
Of course he does. Yeah, he does. Why wouldn't he want to be?
Yeah, but not everybody's McCaffrey, bro. Like, he's good, man. I don't know if he's McCaffrey, but I mean, hey, man, I'm not.
You know what Kamara's saying is he was McCaffrey before McCaffrey.
Yeah, do you remember that first year they were drafted in the same class, and everyone was like, "Oh, we should have took Kamara instead of McCaffrey."
I know that was
bro. Put Christian behind that Saints offensive line and tell me what he would have done.
No, Kamara was nasty as
no one's
fuck that rookie year, bro. He was nasty. He was hurt last year. He still played through on. And look, I'm kind of Kamara defender because he's on my fantasy team. I've had him as a keeper. I picked him in the 14th round. I've had him.
You may want to reconsider depending upon where he goes this year if he doesn't stay with the Saints.
Dude, send him somewhere else. He'll be just as good.
All right.
That's bold. All right, so but let's go back. Who was I talking about before? Fournette. All right. So here, I do want to go ahead and put this out to everybody listening, is that, yes, I was wrong. 100,000% wrong. Is I wanted Leonard Fournette over Christian McCaffrey. I thought Leonard Fournette was going to be amazing. And I won't even say in defense, because it's not about defending. I almost want to say, what the hell are the Jacksonville Jaguars thinking at this point? Why?
They're thinking right now, number 1 draft pick next year.
Yeah, they're thinking Trevor Lawrence is going to look good in the Jaguar uniform. Apparently, they're also thinking that Coach Dabo Swinney would look good as the new head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. So, I don't know. I do want to at least throw out there that if you look at all the players that Jacksonville has lost from the time they were last in the playoffs to now, dude, it's a ridiculous list.
No. Look at the worst list. From 2012 to 2017, they had 5 consecutive years of top 5 draft picks. None of them are on their team still.
Dude, that's a special kind of bad.
They try to trade him away on purpose, it seems like.
Yeah. Well, because
right?
they traded away
Jalen Ramsey.
Jonathan Ngakoue got traded to the Vikings because he was saying, I am not going to play for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He took a pay cut to take a 1-year deal with Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he didn't really take a pay cut. Is that he was in he was kind of in the same thing they were about to do to Fournette, right? It's like he don't like these guys. That's the thing is they don't. The reason they've been so vocal about disliking where they're at is because they don't have any power because they're in those rookie deals. You know, like Jalen Ramsey forced himself out. He forced himself out. And all of these guys have, but they have traded away Calais Campbell. They've traded away Jalen Ramsey. They traded Ngoku or whatever his name is. They also tried to shop Leonard Fournette. I do want to apologize to everybody, and I want to apologize to Christian McCaffrey specifically, is that he's amazing, and Fournette has not been. But in defense of Fournette, he has been 1,000-yard rusher every season, it feels like. He caught something like 60 or 70 catches. It's almost like Christian McCaffrey has just been so sensational, it makes Fournette look pedestrian.
Yeah, he was. Listen, I think this is fair. He was pretty good on a team that was god-awful for a long time.
And they made it to the AFC Championship game, right?
Yeah. Kind of fluky, in my opinion.
I agree. It was a little fluky, but it was this. It was not fluky in this, is that they had a badass defense. They had Leonard Fournette, who was pounding the rock, and Bortles, who at that time was not turning it over like crazy.
I didn't think there would be another team that could crumble as quickly as we did. But the Jaguars definitely made a run at that.
They have been. They crumbled so quickly, CK, that I almost forgot that they were even good.
Yeah,
they weren't good. It was like they were good for like 3 months, and that was it.
They were, and it was. They had a great defense. Blake Bortles was playing out of his mind that year. I mean, they just seemed to have what you needed to be able to push farther into the playoffs. And then all of a sudden, whatever happens. I mean, they have another year where Blake Bortles ends up being, pedestrian, and then that defense starts to turn on one another because there's only so much you can do when your offense can't put up points. You have reports of Leonard Fournette being lazy or not a team player. I mean, when you have those things,
but he wasn't though. Like he was that maybe I guess in the first year, right? Yeah. But then he went and had like some sort of peace pipe moment. Last year he went and got serious on his own. Like he came in healthier than ever. I know he had that one moment. He got pulled over in a traffic stop and it wasn't good. Right.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's not like he has been bad.
No,
what do you think? Why do you think they did it?
Well, but again, man, it goes. There's something wrong with Jacksonville. we're talking about too many players now. Like, you don't want to take all the blame away from him. But, dude, sometimes you just get drafted to a bad situation, to an NFL team that has no vision. The GM has no idea what they're doing. Like the Panthers, they have no organization from the coaching staff because they're always turning over new coaches. I mean, yeah, I don't really blame him. But listen, I'll also give credit what credit is due. Dave Gettleman chose Christian McCaffrey at pick number 8. And a lot of people didn't think it was a good pick. But when you look at what he's done, man, I mean, he is quite literally the only reason the Panthers were even relevant in any football game last year. So, yeah, it's kind of hard to compare him to Christian.
I don't know why I was so infatuated with Leonard Fournette at the time. I think he just looks like a NFL player, Yeah. I don't know what happened.
But he was a brute, and he was fast, and it was downhill. And traditionally, that's the kind of style that the Panthers had that we would use Jonathan Stewart in.
Yeah. Here's what I was going to say. I mean, honestly, I think this could have been the best thing that happened to Leonard Fournette because obviously he's going into a contract year next year. But the reason I say that is next year, do you guys know how many running backs are on the market?
A ton.
Aaron Jones, Dalvin Cook. You have Alvin Kamara, technically, unless he gets his extension.
Todd Gurley.
Yeah, Todd Gurley. Todd, I think he signed an extension with the Falcons. But
yeah, he signed him 1 year. So after this year.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, so Todd Gurley. There's like 10 top-of-the-line, top-tier running backs in the league that are going to be free agents next year. So this is why Kamara's doing what he's doing, because he is sure as hell not going to get a contract he wants in a market like next year. And Leonard Fournette, if he were to be, I mean, like I said, for him, it makes a lot of sense because now he can actually go out, try to get a long-term contract, or at least play for a contract extension with a team. But it's I think it could be the best thing that happened to him, so he can go to a winning culture possibly and actually be able to contribute and then raise his stock a little bit.
Where does he go?
How about the Bengals paid Joe Mixon today? Did y'all see that? Joe Mixon got a 4-year contract, man. And part of me is like, it's not smart to sign running backs. I said that even when we signed Christian, as much as I love him. But, dude, if you have all these running backs floating around and you have your guy, pay him now. You have Joe Burrow, the number 1 pick in the draft. I think we're really having a conversation about how important the running back is and the style of running back. Because Fournette was that power bruiser.
Yep.
And, Mixon was to another degree himself. But, dude, McCaffrey could just do it all. And, man, especially him and Alvin Kamara, they represent what the modern NFL running back looks like. They can do it all. They can catch passes. Mm-hmm. They can run between the tackles, jet sweeps. They can do all that cool shit. So,
to be fair, Christian McCaffrey had the most touchdowns running between the tackles than any other running back in the league. So, to be fair, I mean, even if people wanted to look at his size and say, I mean, he has proven that he is better than even some of those guys who run in the tackles more frequently and more damaging.
He's done it all. He's done it all. And I don't want to reduce. And so I understand what you're saying, Cody, when it comes to like the modern running back, but it's not new in so many ways. Like Marshall Faulk was that guy.
Right.
LaDainian Tomlinson was that dude. Even more, he was that big and pass catcher. And when it comes to Fournette, he hasn't been one dimensional. He caught like 70 passes last year. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to detract from Fournette because McCaffrey has been so sensational. Right, McCaffrey has been better than really what we even expected. Even the proponents, I think, are very pleased. Like the people who love McCaffrey and who have loved him from the beginning have said, they're sitting there going, "Damn, this is the best case scenario."
how many offenses in the NFL are completely built around their running back? For as many good running backs as no, because now they have CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper. They have a pass game. Right, but basically what I'm saying is the Christian does everything for us. He's a 1,000-yard receiver. He's a 1,000-yard rusher. Our offense is quite literally built around him. And I was watching a video. What made McCaffrey so special last season is if you look at all the seasons that he compared with, like LaDainian Tomlinson, like Marshall Faulk, all of those teams had good offensive lines and made it to the playoffs. McCaffrey didn't have any of that, and he was still able to be a 1,000-yard rusher and a 1,000-yard receiver. We have a special player, and I don't blame you, Tony, for thinking Fournette was going to be better at the time. McCaffrey had a lot of doubters, and not a lot of people thought that he was going to do what he did, man. And
it was less about McCaffrey at that point and more about Fournette. As I thought that Fournette was going to be like Bo Jackson. And he has not been bad. So here is McCaffrey has been better than expected, and Leonard Fournette has not been what I thought he was going to be.
Expected, yeah.
Right.
But I think the reason that I think it's a disappointment though, Tony, is where he was drafted. Right. I would agree with you if he was drafted, drafted beyond that. If he was drafted outside of the top 5, then certainly I think he's lived up to it. But when you're drafted that highly, you're toted that highly, then I think at that point in time, anything that he's done is a disappointment. But is he a disappointment or the Jaguars a disappointment?
That's kind of what I'm saying.
At this point, they seem like I don't understand the move. Right?
Listen,
I'm going to turn the mic over to you guys on this. Tell me what the move means, A, and B, where does he go? I got to get a drink. 10 Tizzy's been saying my mouse is driving him crazy. You know what's driving me crazy is not having any alcohol doing this podcast. You guys tell me those two things. Is it Jacksonville, and where's he going? I'll be right back.
All right.
CK, you want to go? Let's do this. Let's just throw out where do we think he's going to go? I'll say if I'm picking, I think he's going to the Bears. I think that they don't have a lot of good they don't have a strong running game, and especially they don't even know who their quarterback is going to be. It's either going to be Nick Foles or Mitch Trubisky. Apparently, both of them are terrible on the practice field, so neither of them are really dependable. Hey, build around a running game, run the football. You're in the AFC North. It's cold, and I don't necessarily know what it means. I mean, especially for the Panthers. I mean, we just signed our guy, so we're good. But I think you made the best point. It's like there are so many free agents. Like, who's going to – and another thing that we didn't mention, the coach kept on coming out and saying there was no trade market for him, that we couldn't get anything. We couldn't get a 6th round, a 7th round. We couldn't get anything for Leonard Fournette. So, I don't really know who signs him, but again, I don't know what NFL team is in a rush to either sign him, which would probably be for cheap, or trade for Kamara. Like, there's so many running backs coming down the pike, including the college guys that are still to come. It's like, I don't know.
So the reason I think that the Bears are definitely in the top 3 places that he could land is mainly because they got rid of Howard based on the fact that they had a running back that was able to basically do what he did, and then Tariq Cohen as well. That did not work out. That has not worked out, and ever since they got rid of Howard, it has not done them any favors. So I could see them needing that bruiser back, just like Leonard Fournette is. However, I think that they could be in play for a Kamara trade. And the reason I think that is Leonard Fournette is going to be cheap, right? And let's talk about who goes after the cheap damaged goods. The Patriots. Think about the last time that you remember the running backs for the Patriots that weren't those speedy types. Who is it?
That weren't the speedy types? Damn.
Yeah. LeGarrette Blount.
Yeah, and they won a Super Bowl. But they had that 1-2 kick of Sony Michel, too. And Sony Michel is still there. He's still up there.
Are you talking about him going to New England?
Yeah.
That's where it's going. That's where he is going, homie.
A lot of people are saying
it makes a lot of sense. I mean, it makes way too much sense, but I do. Maurice Jones-Drew made a point that the way that the Bears run their offense, it would allow Leonard Fournette to run downhill like he wants to do.
Oh, dude.
And Montgomery just got hurt, right?
God of Blackness in the chat has the best comment. If we pick him up to spell Christian, that would be funny. Because Fournette was picked 4 picks earlier, and then we bring him in to be Christian's backup. that would be a power.
It's not happening. He's going to the Pats, or he's going to Tampa Bay.
No, well, that is something that I thought about too. Somebody else brought that up as well.
But they have Ronald Jones. I think they
they have who?
Ronald Jones.
He did.
Yeah, I mean,
he did good on the stretch last year.
Yeah, he did his thing last year.
Was he a top? Was he? No.
He was. I don't know if you're ready to get him out of there and try to sign Leonard Fournette to a 1 year deal.
You don't have to get him out. You could sign Leonard Fournette and still have Ronald Jones on your team. It's not like Ronald Jones is going to be like, oh, my God, I quit football because you disgraced me.
He's looking at. Like, Leonard Fournette's probably looking to go to a place. Well, he wants to be the bell cow, but realistically, wherever they sign him, he's probably going to be a part of a 1-2 punch, just letting the ball.
He is going to the Patriots. Think about this. I know you guys, you're a little young to remember this, but Corey Dillon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Corey Dillon, he was a running back who was with the Cincinnati Bengals, who had like 10 1,000-yard seasons in a row, but he just played on the worst fucking team in the history of the world. He then, in his olden years, went to the Patriots and beat ass for a season. What was it? It was, hold on, my boy was telling me that, my boy Cliff was telling me this tonight. It was something like run down clock Corey clock. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just like in the fourth, you put in Corey Dillon, you just run that clock down. I cannot remember what they called him. It was a nickname. I'm so pissed. He's going to make fun of me. But the idea is look, the Patriots get all these motherfuckers. And here, go back to this. What was your thoughts on this? Is that why release Leonard Fournette right now? Yeah. Why?
I mean, who wants to say it?
I mean, I think we can
tank.
We can,
of course,
for Trevor. But I think it's got to be beyond that, because I mean, I don't think that Leonard Fournette, I think they could game plan around him winning the games, right? I don't think that's it at all. I think that there is something with Leonard Fournette. I mean, if they were trying to shop him, they didn't want him on the team, period. Like, here's the reality. Think about this. If they did tank for Trevor, wouldn't it be nice to have a running back that you can count on to be there with Trevor?
Yeah. 100%.
Well, they wouldn't have had him after this year. See, that's the thing, is this was the last year, or else they were going to go 5th-year option, right? And I guess they could have done 5th-year option, made it a problem. You know, then he would have sat out next year. They're trying to, whatever. I don't think that he has been a problem in the locker room. I think he had one incident where he got pulled over and he didn't have like tags or something. He didn't have his insurance right or his license. But he spoke out in his like the first year or two, but he's really stepped it up. The last year he was a team dude and they sucked and he was great. But again, not great, but like he was. I don't understand what they benefit from by just releasing him.
They don't.
And why did they not wait at least to trade him?
Well, but it goes back to two things, right? So players don't tank. Players are never going to put shitty film out there for other teams. It hurts their own personal business. It's just not a good look. So tanking is done from an organizational standpoint. Like, hey, we're just going to get rid of some people, and whatever happens, happens, right? Now, what this says to me, though, is the teams that always try the hardest to do it always fail to get the number one pick. Miami tried to do it, and they ended up with the 5th pick. So no matter how hard you might try and tank, it doesn't mean that it's going to happen or that you're going to be successful doing it. Moreover, I'll repeat, why are so many players looking to get the fuck out of Jacksonville, man?
Dude, they hate it. They hate it.
By the way, no other team in the NFL has more complaints submitted to the NFLPA than the Jacksonville Jaguars. That is a 100% fact. So, again, man, it's like they're either building something new or they just don't want people that don't want to be there, which is apparently most of their football team.
Was it them that had the problem with the SAR? Do you remember at one point, I can't remember if it was them or Miami that had problems with that
that flesh disorder.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, that's what I was trying to think about.
What is that, though?
It's not the MRSA.
Yeah, it is. Well, yeah, it is.
Was it MRSA? I think they had MRSA or something like that.
They had some dirty shit floating around.
Yeah. All right. So it was Christian McCaffrey, Dave Gettleman's greatest draft pick.
Who all did he draft? Probably so, huh?
Star, KK, Trey Turner.
A lot of good. There were good players that he drafted, but the only great one to this point has been Christian, I think.
Yeah, I mean, there were some guys in between there. All right, so let's move on to this. Here's some news, is that the Panthers canceled practice on Saturday. The players not refused, but I don't know what to think about. Right now, I'm so upset with Panthers media. I'm so upset with the coverage of this. It's so team friendly and missing. I'm so irritated by him. But the guy, there was recently another shooting involving a black man involving the police, and the Carolina Panthers then. I mean, all types of sports. I mean, the NBA boycotted some things. It was Jacob something, right? Look at Ben S. Thank you, Ben. Look, if my man Ben says the mic's good, I believe him. Look, I got the green screen, guys. I'm in Bank of America right now. My mic is good. Y'all better smash the thumbs up button right now. The Panthers podcast popping. But Jacob, I don't know. I have not been in tune with the news recently, but the NBA has paused. You know, they boycotted a game. I know. I saw. I'm a Cubs fan. That Jason Hayward sat out a game for the Cubs, and then the Panthers decided to not practice on Saturday. So, any thoughts on sports reactions to society boycotting, and does that affect the team at all as they're trying to prepare? Matt Rhule said they believe they can make it up easily.
This was a Sunday, right?
It was Saturday. I think it was Saturday. Let me turn this light on. It keeps going off. I'm listening.
I don't see this impacting much of anything. I mean, any more than our lack of preseason is going to impact anything. I really don't. I don't see the fuss. I think it was more about what they were out of practice for, more so than the fact that they missed practice. I don't think practice was a big deal. I think the reason that this is a bigger story is because of the reasoning behind it, more so than anything else.
Do you think that what do you guys think about the sports world? What do you guys think about them? I guess not taking days off. That's not the right word. Making like these statements And not that making a statement is a problem. Do you guys really believe that the Panthers not practicing on Saturday, I guess, moves the needle is my question? I'm sitting here selfishly wondering how this Panthers team is going to look in 2 weeks. But do you guys think that does that statement help, I guess, is my question.
It depends, man. Like, players have the platform, so they want to use it. And let's also be real about this. If we're talking about it, most of the players who make up an NFL roster are black men. So you can't tell them that you don't get to feel a certain kind of way, or you don't get to add your voice to this, specifically when millions of people are going to tune in on Sundays and Thursdays and Mondays to watch them play football. So, I mean, at this point, it's become a part of our lexicon, man. Like, players protesting, like, that's the new normal. I don't think it's ever going to change. I mean, as long as the problems in America continue to not change, I don't see football players and basketball players and what have you choosing to sit out these discussions. It's kind of just the new normal, man. And don't blame anyone for making football political or whatnot. Politics makes everything political. It forces.
Well, our lives are political, right? We are humans, and we are.
But politics forces its way into these discussions. So whether or not we want to talk about it or you want to hear about it, it doesn't matter. It's what's going on right now.
What do you think about all right, so the Panthers make this, I guess. Do you think the statement from the professional athletes really is an impact, though?
I think it depends on what athlete.
So I'm just kind of interested in this. Is like I'm not even negative on it. Like, I'm not negative on it. Like, I don't have a problem with any of it. My question is just ultimately, when the NFL doesn't practice a game or when the NBA doesn't play a game, do any of us truly give a shit?
I mean, if you're an NBA fan, yeah, you probably give a lot of a shit.
I mean, but do you, like, all of a sudden you're woke?
No, like LeBron and them were talking about boycotting the rest of the season, and personally, I just didn't see what good that would do. I mean, you're part of the reason you have the platform that you have is because you play basketball. So it's not like your impact on whatever issue you're talking about is going to be bigger if you're not playing the sport that people know you for playing. So you could argue that their impact is greater when they are playing. By the way, shout out to Shane Welch in our YouTube chat. Says MRSA outbreak was Tampa.
Oh, all the Florida teams are the same. What we say, Miami, Jacksonville. We were totally dancing around the wrong team. We were all over the map.
Same shit.
Yeah, just Florida bitches. All right, but no, thank you, because we were way off the mark there. So, all right, so Leonard Fournette could be, I think he's going to be a Patriot, bro, with Cam Newton. Come on.
Who would you rather see?
It's the Patriot way, bro.
Who would you rather see with Cam Newton, Alvin Kamara or Leonard Fournette?
Ooh. I think Leonard Fournette. I think Leonard Fournette would be perfect for Cam. Cam don't need a dump off guy. He can get out of problems. You know, he can do that. What he needs is a guy that's just going to beat ass up the middle.
Let me tell you, though, he doesn't need one, but he sure as hell benefited from having one his past few years.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. He didn't even know Christian McCaffrey.
Dude, Christian McCaffrey was Cam Newton's like only and favorite target.
1 year, his rookie year, and he wasn't even that big then.
In 2018, man, he wasn't. I mean, shit. Even at that early half.
But Cam only played 6 games, right?
Yeah.
Oh, let's turn it over to the chat room. Let's ask that. We're asking the chat room, if you are the Patriots GM and you're Cam Newton and you're sitting down drinking a little glass of red wine vino that Cam likes to drink, right? Would you rather go after right now? Because the Patriots go after, this is how they do it. They do it every damn year. They go and get Cam right now. Now they're going to go get Leonard Fournette or Alvin Kamara with the trade.
They're not getting Alvin Kamara. They cannot get it. They can't even.
They can't afford him. They can't.
Yeah.
Well, they can financially afford
but
him.
they might be able
Will-
to. If you're the Patriots, did you give up a 4th round pick for Alvin Kamara?
Yes.
Yeah, like why
Yes.
wouldn't
Oh,
you? By the
the
way,
Saints are going to give him up before.
and Tony,
Yes,
you,
they will.
Tony, you walked away as we brought this up. When it comes to Leonard Fournette, Doug Marrone was like, "We could not trade him for the world. We couldn't
That's a
get
lie.
5th, a 6th, a
That's
7th."
the biggest fucking lie I've ever heard.
If it's a lot, why
That's
would
like
not
somebody
buy-
telling me I got a 12-inch. I got a Teddy Bridgewater D.
But then
that's
if
the
it's not true,
same
why
size
wouldn't they
of lie.
have gotten something for Leonard Fournette? Why did they just cut him? All
right. This kind of brings me back to a Cam question, and we cannot spend. We're 42 minutes into the show. We probably should move on.
Talk about Curtis Samuel.
Yeah,
but
when it comes to Cam, is that like, wouldn't it just be better to have a disgruntled Cam on your team than to not get anything, like to lose all the money, to not get a? I don't understand how you're trying to tell me that we traded Kelvin Benjamin for a 3rd and a 7th, but we can't get a fucking 7th for Cam? Shut up. You're trying to tell me that the Jacksonville Jaguars can't get a 5th for Leonard Fournette? Come on. I don't believe it. So I tell Doug Marrone to suck my non-Teddy Bridgewater D.
This is a sign of a good GM, though. If I'm the other
It's
GM,
not a sign of a good GM.
No, I'm not talking about their GM. I'm saying all the other teams, if you say, no, we're not going to trade for him, they already know that Leonard Fournette doesn't want to be there and that the Jaguars don't want him. So instead of, think about what
they
the
don't make
Patriots
any sense. They should not want to lose a player that bad. There's no reason to not want Leonard Fournette that bad.
Look at what the Patriots did with Cam Newton. They never traded for him. Dude, they just put their hands, sat on their hands, bided their time, and then all of a sudden Cam Newton is just ready and waiting to come and play football.
And think about this, that they got value on 2 fronts. They didn't have to get rid of a draft pick, and they got Cam Newton at a fraction of the cost they would have gotten him for on a trade.
I feel like using the Patriots as the example is a bad one because they are they're the yard sale cutthroat motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? They're the ones that come to your yard sale. I remember, actually, here's an exact example of this. So I went to this yard sale once, and my wife was like, damn, that's a pretty vase. And this lady goes, that's a Jefferson vase or something. It was like some special vase or some shit like that. And I said, well, I'll give you $5 for it. And she said, nah, fuck that. I paid like $250 for it. I said, well, you're selling it at a yard sale, bitch. You ain't getting $20 for it. You'll be lucky if you get a $5. I ain't buying it now.
Did you say those exact words?
Yes,
it's
pretty much. Sale, bitch. Yes, I actually probably did. Close to it. I said, maybe not the bitch part, but that's how the Patriots deal with every deal, bro. Yeah. They're like, yeah, I mean, but do you really believe, like, why did Jacksonville cut him? It doesn't make any sense. And therefore, they should have just left. You almost just put him on the practice squad. I mean, I know you can't do that at this point, but the Patriots will get him. The question is, do they get him or Alvin Kamara? And I think the better fit, who do you think the better fit is? I think the better fit's fucking Leonard Fournette. They have James White. They have all these little scat backs that you can always.
Sony
Michel. They have, I think Rex Burkhead is still there. Discount Christian McCaffrey. Yeah, man. All right. I mean, I don't really know what else to say about it other than I just hope that they go to teams that make it interesting.
Let's go to Kevin Boshavin's comment. The Pats will trade for Curtis Samuel. I'm transitioning over right now. You sent me a tweet today, Cody, that said that Curtis Samuel And why is my computer running so slow? Curtis
Well,
Samuel, report by Roto World that he's just not even having a cool camp.
Yeah, that he's not having a good camp, that he apparently is dealing with another hamstring injury. So, again, I'll give credit where credit's due. You keep bringing up that he's hurt all the time. This is another thing that they're monitoring. But apparently, even when Curtis is on the field, he has regressed further past his than further past where he started at. So where he was when he came into camp, he's apparently looking even worse than that.
And how is that even possible?
Yeah, and a lot of it.
That's what I want to know. Is that how is that possible? Because you don't get to see Curtis Samuel in his true form. His true form is getting him the ball and seeing this motherfucker run 80 yards down the field and break tackle, like do all this magical shit. You don't see that in training camp. How can he look bad in training camp? Is he missing routes? You know, what do you think that means, Cody?
He's not getting the reps. That's what I think it means.
But I'm hearing he's wide receiver 3. That even Robbie Anderson is wide receiver 2 over him. But my thing
we
is
expected that. Everybody expected that.
And you expected that. I still don't know
we
about
went
that.
we went and signed Robbie Anderson to a significant 2-year deal. They wanted him to be the dude that wasn't DJ, and everybody is on DJ's dick, by the way, right now.
It was also, yeah. Well, apparently,
if you're a fantasy dude, everybody is on that D.
The exact opposite of what's being said about Curtis Samuel is being said about DJ Moore. He's separating well, making incredible catches. The Panthers Twitter team has already posted a bunch of stuff showing how good he's looked. Yeah, DJ Moore's having a great camp right now. But my thing is this. Didn't we just get a report that we also need to talk about that Matt Rhule is looking for defensive back help? Meaning, other than Dante Jackson, and we talked about this last Tuesday, there's no wide receiver 2 right now. Troy Pride's getting reps. A bunch of people.
You mean DB2?
DB2, yeah,
DB2. But so okay, what am I missing here? Our defensive backfield is getting shredded, other than Dante Jackson, but yet Curtis Samuel doesn't look good. Like, part of this almost seems like a smokescreen. Like an attempt to divert you away from Curtis Samuel, man. I'm putting on my 10-foot hat right now, bro.
Supreme Letter says more D. Well done, sir. More D. That's what she said.
But do you understand what I'm saying? Like, how is it both true that Curtis Samuel looks terrible, but our defensive backfield also looks like shit? Like, if they're looking like shit and Curtis Samuel's looking like shit, then that's a bad recipe, man. At the same time, apparently he's dealing with a hamstring injury. So I don't know what to make of this, man.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of it because it's one source. Have you guys seen any other person post about Curtis Samuel?
No, but no, unless you want to talk about Matt Rhule and this new Matt Rhule kiss of death going around. Every time Matt Rhule praises a player, they're either getting cut or traded or whatever. It ends up being the opposite of what Matt Rhule said. So Matt Rhule praises Andre Smith, says how good Andre Smith is, and then a little while later we're cutting him, and then they amend that. And now
we traded him. Yeah, we amended it, and we're trading him now.
And this is at a time when our third linebacker position is more in question than it's ever been. We have Shaq Thompson, Tarir Whitehead, and no idea who number 3 is. And we're trading away linebackers. I don't know, man.
And where does he go? Where does he go?
Keep rumbling, baby.
Dude, it's insane. If you look at the, in fact, I'm gonna pull it up as you guys talk. But still, the kiss of death, right? Tell us about what you mean by the kiss of death for people who may be just
go down the line.
So Matt Rhule
start with Cam.
Yeah, and it goes with Cam Newton. Matt Rhule was talking up about how excited he is to have him on the team, and he was so ready to work with Cam, and he's such an infectious leader. And then boom, Cam Newton's out the door. And it's like, okay, is that a Marty Hurney decision? Is that a Matt Rhule decision? Whatever. But then it goes on to say that this dude, Andre Smith, took a step forward and that he was starting to look good and look promising. And then we're getting rid of him. Okay, now he's doing the same thing with Curtis Samuel. But every other report that we have heard, at least most of them, is that Curtis Samuel is not having a good camp right now. So which one is true? Because it's almost like right now, and I wish Bat Daddy was here for us to go back and forth on this because he's been on this train. But it paints Matt Rhule as a guy who is being dishonest and not telling us
Oh God.
the truth about and how they're performing. And that's worrisome. That's real worrisome.
You know, Trill One says this: how reliable is that source? Well, I'll tell you one thing is that source was not a Curtis Samuel D sucker like the rest of y'all.
Yeah. But what evidence does he have? Like that's not like what evidence, and this is something that you guys talked about. Like, what evidence could you take away from like any practice? I mean, we want to crown the next superstar of the Panthers based on how the preseason went, how the training camp went. But how logical is it to think that way?
I do agree that. I do agree with you 100% on that, is that we actually haven't heard any news. Is this report entirely just that Curtis Samuel hasn't been burning up training camp? But I tell you this, Curtis Samuel is going to have an uphill battle on this roster. I promise you that. Is that they brought in Robbie Anderson because that's Rhule's dude. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be DJ Moore, who's been beating that D in camp, and they have been stroking it on social media, the DJ D. But this is that
Are you
Robbie
doing that on purpose?
Yes.
Beating the D's. Yeah.
Yes, I'm doing all that on purpose. The other thing though is that we know that Robbie Anderson is going to be the number 2. Like, it's going to be Curtis Samuel's job to be the number 3. But here's the thing, it's like, shut up, Roto World or whoever you are. Unless there's a third guy behind them that we are all into, right? Is that it just isn't true. Like, you don't have, like, all right, so say Curtis Samuel hasn't been as badass as we all hoped.
Can I give you a source on where we're getting some of this information?
Yeah, please.
Jonathan M. Alexander posted August 31st on a article for the Observer. At the very bottom, it says some receivers have been impressive, others have not. It goes on to praise DJ Moore, but he goes on to say Samuel, though, has not been impressive. He played well in the first practice without pads. He made some tough catches in the first week, but since then, he's been mostly absent. Part of that can be attributed to a minor hamstring injury he's been dealing with, but he's regressed since the first day. This is an important year for Samuel, who's on the last year of his rookie deal and is hoping to land a bigger contract. As the number 3 wide receiver who can also line up in the backfield, he'll likely have opportunities to make plays. And that's why I'm not too worried about this.
Right, I'm not either.
Even if it is true, by other reports I've read too, by the same report actually, is that the Panthers' offense this season is predicated on those short to middle distance passes. They're not necessarily throwing the long ball, although they do say that Teddy Bridgewater has been good on deep passes. So when it comes to Curtis Samuel, they're going to put him in a position to be open. He's still faster than everyone on the field. That guy is going to have an opportunity to get the ball in his hands as long as Bridgewater does what Bridgewater does, and that's distribute the football.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that's the part that I was talking about is if Curtis Samuel is our slot, He's our number 3 wide receiver. I think that opens him up to be more versatile in the offense than a number 1 and a number 2. And that's simply because the slot can run out of the backfield. Let's talk about the misdirection you can have having Curtis Samuel and Christian McCaffrey both either in the backfield or in slot. And then I feel like you're going to open yourself up to a lot of opportunity if you have that versatility at the slot between him and Curtis Samuel, or him and Christian McCaffrey. I really do think that this is a non-story. I
agree.
think that
100%. I think you're right.
I believe Curtis Samuel is a big part of the plans for what this offense is going to be. So I'm really excited.
Even if he's not a part of the plan, CK, right? Like, even if they were down on him, who the fuck are they going to put him? You're trying to tell me Zolstra is going to be the third receiver?
No.
Who is the third receiver? No, there's nobody. We're tiny, yes. Maybe you could argue that is that Curtis Samuel makes us small, right?
Well,
but that's what you want in a slot receiver.
Yeah.
This was all designed for him to be in the slot. I don't understand. I think this article is just, and not the shit on the author, right? Because we don't know. I mean, look, he's been at practices for all we know. Maybe the guy sucked. But I think this is that being not the hype man. DJ Moore has been hyped beyond belief in this season. Is that if you're playing fantasy football right now, everybody thinks DJ Moore about to be the next 110 cats dude. I think it's overhyped, but I think Robbie Anderson's going to be the feature of this offense.
I disagree.
The future?
Wow.
Of
The feature.
Nah, that would mean he's wide receiver 1, like over.
I think he's
DJ
going to be throwing they're going to be trying to get the deep ball to Robbie all season.
Bro,
I promise you. Why do you think we brought him in? That's what he is. He's a big play dude.
Dude, that's
that's what he is. He is a big play. He is our Ted Ginn.
So I think that the thing that I would say I'm cautious about is he's had a few good games, like a few good seasons with the Jets. But
he had 800 yards with the Jets twice. And that's all Teddy ever had with us.
And he was the number 1 wide receiver in those years.
No, he was not.
Who else was there?
Ujamumu, whatever his name is.
The hell are you talking about? What did you say about my mama?
All right, Tony's out of this conversation.
No,
Cody, let's just go ahead.
His name was like Ujamima, whatever. It's a real dude. It's a real dude, I promise you.
Robbie Anderson had a few good, maybe, and it was decent seasons. I'm not saying he's going to be bad.
On the worst fucking team possible, dude.
Yeah,
no, think about it. He was on the team when McCown. Remember when McCown was throwing the ball to him? McCown had a great year that year, like one of the best years he's ever had. And he was getting the ball to Robbie Anderson. Robbie Anderson was balling out. We had that game against them, and we were destroying them. And I think it was 2017 when we went to the playoffs. And Robbie Anderson, they were down by 30 points, and he got a score, and he was telling people to vote him to the Pro Bowl. What I'm talking about is it's not like this guy has been blowing the doors off.
No, he hasn't been blowing the door. But he's got 700 yards. That's what Ted Ginn did. Those years that we thought that Ted Ginn was awesome and everybody's like he's the best motherfucker in the world. He only got 700 yards.
Yeah, but
that's exactly what Robbie Anderson has done. Robbie Anderson is going to be our Ted Ginn, but there better. Was no one he can catch.
Had more talent than Ted Ginn. We have players on this team at the receiver position. I believe that we have 3 receivers on this football team. 2 of them are better receivers, and Christian McCaffrey's in that running too. I don't think I can name 2 or 3 people.
Y'all are sleeping on some damn Robbie Anderson,
than Robbie Anderson as you said.
I'm not saying he's not going to be
that
all right.
skinny little motherfucker is going to be good.
I think
so you're going to tell me you would take Robbie Anderson over DJ Moore?
No, well, I mean, what? In like fantasy, you're trying to say?
I mean, yeah. I
Yeah,
guess. I
will. And this is why I'm going to say this is because DJ Moore is going like the top 20, the top round. You know what I'm saying? You get Robbie Anderson in like the 7th or the 8th. Actually, I did pick Robbie Anderson in like the 7th or 8th round. So, no, I'm not trying to say. I think that DJ Moore is getting so much love. I hope he's amazing. And I do expect him to be all these different things and this and that. But fantasy football people, they build their numbers too much on the previous season.
Yeah.
And so, look, Teddy Bridgewater is not going to be Kyle Allen. He is not a one-read quarterback. What I expect, I don't know what to expect from Joe Brady's offense. I don't know what it's going to look like. I assume it's going to be like the Saints offense. We can go look at some LSU games. But from what I saw and what you continue to tell me, Cody, about Joe Burrow is ball distribution, right? And I assume that Teddy Bridgewater was brought in to be a guy like that. So I do expect DJ Moore to eat. But I don't expect him to be 12, 13 catches a game. Yeah. I assume it's going to be like 7, Robbie.
Isn't it reasonable to assume that our offense is going to look similar to the Saints? Drew Brees doesn't have a big arm.
So you think that DJ Moore is, what's his name?
DJ Moore in this system could very easily end up in Michael Thomas.
Come on. He ain't even like, no, Michael Thomas is like 6. No,
listen. Michael Thomas, look at his stats. 90% of his catches are within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He is not. If you look at the stats, the Saints were not throwing the ball down the field and making big plays. That was not how it was happening. That's why Michael Thomas got the record for the most receptions in the NFL.
Just because Breeze can't chunk it no more.
But what I mean by that is,
even still, that lends to the point. He can't chunk it anymore. So
Michael Thomas is 6'3". How tall is DJ?
But DJ Moore is a yards after catch guy. So they're gonna get him the ball in space and let him make a play. They're gonna go to him a lot. And by the way,
with his O line.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why you keep on hearing that the Bridgewater connection so far to DJ Moore and Christian McCaffrey is real. He is using them as they should be used. He's getting the ball out efficiently to both of those guys. So it says to me that they're going to be very important in what we do. And I would not be surprised if DJ Moore does end up trying to fulfill that Michael Thomas role in our offense.
Shout out to our boy, Chef Jeff. Chef Jeff, Home Mycology. You can find his YouTube channel where they tell you to teach, where he teaches you how to, I don't know. Would you explain it?
Self-medicate?
Yes. Like hallucinate?
Yeah,
self-hallucinate?
Hey, some of them psychedelic spores, bro. That's all.
He says games without fans will give us some great audio. He gave us a 420 donation that is lost on no one. Especially, it's not lost on Josh Gordon at all.
No.
So the Curtis Samuel continues to be, I guess, whatever.
A question mark. But
here, the death now was, hold on, let me see. I think I got it here. We traded today. Oh, I brought it up. I brought up the Bills roster, and then I got away from it because we were talking about Michael Thomas's size or whatever. All right, so the Panthers then traded in 2017. We traded Kelvin Benjamin for a third or a fourth and a seventh to the Bills. We got Rashawn Golden out of it, right? And we also got this Andre Smith. So we trade this. We don't get anything for Cam, by the way. We get 2 picks for Kelvin Benjamin. Kelvin Benjamin is not even playing football anymore. On top of that, Devin Funchess actually played better with no Kelvin Benjamin. But listen to here. I'm going to read off some names from the Bills roster. Mario Addison is the first one that I see. Vernon Butler, Brian Cox Jr. That's 3. Let's see. Hold on. We'll keep going. Let me see who else we got. Nope. I thought it was gonna be more than this.
Are you talking about how many of them were former Panthers?
Yeah.
Star Latulele, don't forget Star.
Who's sitting out this year? Josh Norman. Josh Norman.
Oh, Jano. Yeah, I forgot about that. Dude,
Yeah.
the other night, Josh Norman went on the Panthers.
Andre Smith. That's another. Yeah.
He was. They were watching the Panthers and the Cardinals in the
2015, yeah.
championship game. Dude, the back and forth banter between Josh Norman and Luke Kuechly was awesome, man.
Yeah.
It made me feel a certain kind of way, man. That heavy nostalgia. Listen, I don't care what anybody says. I love Josh Norman. I don't care what kind of play. A lot of people think he sucks now, and that pretty much his only good year was with us. I don't care what you think about Josh Norman.
Man. He got shit on in Washington.
Yeah. He just went into a really bad situation. He chased the money. He went to a team that had no business being, he had no business being at. It's just an unfortunate circumstance because I think we can all agree that Josh Norman, whereas he is good, he's good in a system, and they weren't playing a system to his strengths. So,
yeah.
All right.
I mean, I did want to highlight this comment in the chat. I don't know if you want to do this before or after we do some cat calls, but Demetrius Miller brings up something, and it keeps on. Like I've been saying that the offensive line is what worries me the most, and it still does. Don't get me wrong, but the fact that our offense is going to be predicated on dumping the ball off a lot, it's not as much of a worry anymore for me. But I will say, though, this defensive backfield is starting to sound like a real problem.
That is actually what we should have been talking about the whole time. You brought it up earlier. Tell us what's going on there.
Yeah, we have no cornerback 2 right now. Eli Apple has a hamstring injury.
Do we have a cornerback 1 question?
Yeah, so Dante Jackson has pretty much solidified his spot as cornerback 1, and a lot of Panther Nation was kind of iffy on him already. When he flashes, boys, he flashes bright. And he already has 1 interception this offseason during training camp. But other than that, it's been a lot of next man up, and the next man up has not looked good. I mean, they're moving Jeremy Chin from linebacker to nickel. They're kind of moving him around everywhere. Troy Pride is a player who's been getting a lot of reps at CB2. Corn Elder, who is still on the football team, is getting reps at that position, man. Like, dude, I don't have to keep on reminding everyone what kind of offensive talent is in our division. Like, this is not a good formula for success. I mean, every outlet, I've seen numerous different outlets say the same thing, that the Panthers' backfield is a problem to the point where Marty Herney is looking to trade for another cornerback last minute to try and get him in the system. And this is a problem, man. We're in the wrong division for us to have a secondary that can't hold this weight right now.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And a young defensive line on top of that. Come on.
How many videos are we going to see of Dante Jackson getting mossed? We have
Zolstra.
Big
by Zolstra.
We have no. I'm talking about in the actual game.
No,
we have
but that happened in a practice by a guy named Zolstra.
Yeah.
Let alone it be Mike Evans.
Yeah, Mike Evans, Michael Thomas, Julio Jones, You then go the other side. They're even the wide receiver twos in our division are insane. I mean, and we've already seen Dante Jackson get roasted by Atlanta. Gosh, why can't I remember his name? We were thinking
Ridley.
about Calvin Ridley. Yeah, Calvin Ridley multiple times. Not even just once. It's been multiple times. So yeah, I have a concern.
What about this? What if Dante Jackson got hurt?
Oh, we'd be Foxville. It would be bad news. Listen, we're questioning.
I mean, we're already concerned about his performance when he's healthy. What if he's not even on the? You know what I'm saying? Ultimately, a hamstring away, like Eli Apple is. Now the Panthers then go on to say that they are. Joe Person reports that they are interested. They're talking to teams. A little late to the party, in my opinion.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, why isn't Logan Ryan? Isn't that a name a lot of people like? And do you believe any of it? I kind of believe none of it. I kind of think the Panthers are tanking.
My concern.
I'm with y'all. Tank for Trevor Lawrence. I think that's what they're doing. I don't believe they're going to go and get anybody.
Wait, but hold on. Let's clarify that. That's what you think who's doing.
The Carolina Panthers administration.
Okay, but again, who's making that decision to do that?
Above Matt Rhule's pay grade. Marty Herney. David Tepper. I don't know.
Right.
What do you really think we're going to go and get Jalen Ramsey?
No,
I don't think. No. Here's the thing: if any team is trading away a secondary player at this point in the season, it's because they weren't going to make the team anyway, right? So the reality of the situation is, I think this is again a no story. I think it's concerning from our secondary, but I do not. There is so little evidence that supports the idea that we're trying to tank. So little evidence. If that was the case, why go out and sign Teddy Bridgewater? Why go out and sign Robbie Anderson? Why go out and do all of these moves that they've been making? There is no evidence that's pointing me to the idea that we're tanking outside of our own expectations of this team, because we're without the people that we've seen in this system for the longest time in Luke Kuechly, Cam Newton, and Greg Olsen. I mean, we're missing those. Those are three components to this team that was our identity, and now they're gone. So now we believe tanking is the only option. But when you look at it from the outside looking in, the moves that we've made, the fact that we have a very rah-rah type of coach who seems to be very predicated on his morals and his principles, there is no evidence that I've seen that we're tanking. Just none. Much to a lot of Panthers' chagrin.
Well, Matt Knows Nothing in our chat room agrees with Tony. He says, smoke screen needing a CB, ? So, like, he's kind of questioning the legitimacy of this, too. All I'm saying is this, right? We already knew, okay, according to all the reports, Dante Jackson is the only one that has cemented himself as cornerback number one, right? He's in there. Okay, every other person is like, we don't know who it's going to be. So, you know, I don't think that it's tanking. Again, so I'm of both mindsets. Like, none of the names that CK just said tells me that this is a win now football team. I mean, Anderson and Teddy Bridgewater, they're not elite talent, but they're not bad either. So I get that. But at the same time, man, it's like, where there's smoke, there's fire. If we're going to keep on hearing this same report, I saw Panthers guy put shaking my head in the chat room like we're just trying to shit on the Panthers. I mean, it was a legitimate news story that was put out by multiple different publications saying that the Panthers were looking to add to their roster in the defensive backfield. That's a real thing. So if we're not liking what we're seeing in practice, dude, what's it going to be like when we're playing all these new high-powered offenses in our own division, not including the Kansas? But we played the Chiefs this year, right? Don't we?
We do play the Chiefs, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to play so many high-powered offenses. It's like right now it doesn't look like our backfield is meant to withstand that. And
it's
we
just
have
so tiny. That's not, it's less about talent. It's just tiny to me. You know what I'm saying? It's like Dante Jackson's like my size. Like he's like me.
The most
minus
concerning
50
part,
pounds.
The most concerning part is Dante Jackson has cemented his position as CB1.
Number one.
The fact that is the most concerning to me.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
not because I don't think Dante Jackson can be a good cornerback. It's that there was nobody who was even close.
They gave him the job immediately.
And he's cemented. I'm saying cemented on purpose, guys.
Cemented. Joey the Blind Panther says Tony's talking like he's drunk. No, bro. I've been sobering up this whole show. Don't you worry. He wants to go on to the cat calls. So let's do it, guys.
Let's do it.
I'm somewhere in
Oh.
there.
Catcalling.
Yeah, it's pretty. You shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like.
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in his nose? Who's that kid that can use one?
Hey guys, it's G. Cavassier. I just want you guys to think about this. What if we re-sign Bené Benwickery and put him at wide receiver / quarterback? Keep pounding.
Liar. You ain't the G.
We're going to call him C. Cavassier.
What is that even about? I don't even know. That. First of all, how cool is that? How cool are you when you're a caller like G. Cavassier and you get callers impersonating you?
Yeah, man, dude, that's how you know we have a great fan base, man. Not only do people tune in for us, but they know the names of the people that call our show, man. I'm telling you, we have the most lit Panther fans in all of YouTube, bro. They come here. But hey, I'd let him be GM faster than I would Barry Herney.
Right now, though, we are kind of interested in having Bené back. If you think about it. Like Bené or Corn.
Well, I'll just pick Corn because I'm hungry.
Sorry. Sorry, I love
But
some
doesn't
Bené.
Benet kind of sound like a beignet?
Yeah, like when you go to New Orleans and you get a beignet.
Yeah.
I'm
just hungry, man.
First of all, Beignet Benwickery was like the dope shit. Like he was good for the Panthers, and then the Panthers threw his ass under the bus.
At Julio Jones.
Yes, and also, why do I love Beignet Benwickery so much? He was on the C3 Panthers podcast. That's right.
Hey, this is Kevin from Charleston, South Carolina. I was thinking, Leonard Fournette's on the free market. I was thinking maybe we can pick him up, depending on the price. We could always use a backup for Christian McCaffrey. We use him so much, Plus, there was a couple plays last season, like when we were on the 1 yard line, needing 1 yard to win the game and couldn't do it. I think it was
Fournette would have got it.
And, we could put Christian McCaffrey on the slot, have Fournette in the backfield, screw with the defense's mind, and we use Christian so much, God forbid, knock on wood, You can always use a reliable back. But, probably won't happen, but I want to see what y'all thoughts on it. Cool.
You guys give me your real thoughts about that, because we had someone suggest that it would be a great way to how ironic or funny would it be for Fournette to be the backup. But right now I just feel like my personal opinion is the money needs to, if you really were trying to get better, the way to do it is we got to get a corner.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't care if this makes me sound like a Debbie Downer, but I have no faith in this offensive line yet. I just don't. And Christian McCaffrey is the type of running back that has proven he doesn't even need to have a great offensive line in order to produce. Whereas I feel that's not true with Leonard Fournette. So, yeah, maybe it takes the pressure off of Christian. Maybe we could use him in a few ways. But, I mean, right now, this is just like Earl Thomas. Like, yeah, it would be good if he was on the team because we know that it would be, you know, a good player to have. But it's not going to happen. And I'm really not a fan of signing anyone right now that doesn't add to either the defensive backfield or the defensive line or the offensive line. If it's not any of those positions, you're talking about like putting sprinkles on cake, man. Who cares?
Lipstick on the pig.
Yeah,
whatever
man.
it is. You're right. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Is that I haven't been thinking that the Panthers are intentionally tanking, but are you really trying to make a run in the short term? No, I don't foresee that. And is Leonard Fournette the answer in the short term? To be honest, is that we really could just use more help in the secondary, the offensive line. I don't know. I mean, that's a good question. Is it? I just don't think that Fournette is backup material. You know, and it's not a dig at would be a backup if he came to the Carolina Panthers. But really, do you want Fournette right now? It's kind of like bringing in Cam to be the backup to Big Ben.
I mean, again, I would rather have him than not have him, you know? But, again, it's like...
Well, we understand how to use them together. That's another thing. Maybe Joe Brady would, but none of the offensive coordinators in the past, like, in some ways, I would say, will slip McCaffrey. How about this? If the Panthers did sign Leonard Fournette, how would we use Christian McCaffrey? I think at that point you make Leonard Fournette the damn back, and you put Dan McCaffrey out there as the third receiver.
Leonard Fournette becomes the next Cameron Artis-Payne here in Carolina.
Oh, that's such bullshit.
You know it's true, though.
All right, next call.
C3 Podcast, what's up? It's your boy Mike, a.k.a. Supreme Lisa.
What's
up,
bro?
Supreme Lisa?
You guys, hopefully I can tune into the podcast tonight while I'm
you've been
moving these Amazon trailers up and down I-85.
Oh, man, my man's a truck driver.
Oof, that road is crap. So I guess not too much going on. Season's almost here. Can't wait. How about Fournette getting released?
Big talk.
Not sure why. He wasn't bad, but I guess he wasn't good either. There could be a deep-rooted issue off the field, but I guess we did make the choice in tagging C-Mac that year over
you're
Fournette.
Right. You're right.
Don't think we had a choice because Fournette was taken before us, I believe.
Yeah,
but
that's what I was going to say. We
it all
want to
worked
credit.
out.
I wanted
question,
Fournette, though.
you guys can ponder on tonight. So with the Hall of Honor having 4 players so far, I know they can't do it every year just because of how young the franchise still is, but who do you think, let's say 5, probably 10 years down the line or whatever, 5 to 10, who would be the next lineup of Hall of Honor players?
You think they wait that long?
Could think of a couple. Moose, Sin Muhammad. Let me see. Dan Morgan. I think we could put him up there.
Nope. None of those guys are getting in. Not enough volume.
Players
for
like
Panthers.
that. Even Brad Hoover. The Who.
He would probably
deserves
be
being
closer
there.
than anybody.
Just let me know what you think. Who the
All
next lineup of Hall of Honor people should be.
Here's my
Fight till I
answer.
die. Keep pounding.
John Casey.
Keep pounding.
I was going to say John Casey, the longest reigning Panther ever.
John Casey. You know, we kind of held it against him for that kick in the Super Bowl, but there was a lot of other things. He is like the best kicker in the history of football. John Casey's the guy. Dan Morgan's career too short, right? I mean, it just ultimately was. It was
Similar to Kuechly, wasn't it?
even worse. Like Kuechly, not worse. Kuechly's career was just so much more productive.
Yeah.
Like Dan Morgan was good, but it was less time and not as good. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, he had 20 tackles. He did have like 20 tackles in the Super Bowl game or some crap like that. It was amazing.
Stewart.
Ooh, good one. But isn't D'Angelo even a bigger rusher than him?
No, Jonathan Stewart has the most rushing yards by any running back for the Panthers.
Really? I thought it was
Jonathan
D'Angelo.
Stewart. No, it was D'Angelo for a long time, but Jay Stewart's final year here, he was able to break that mark.
I'm pretty sure everything is going to crash soon.
I am remembering that correctly, right? I think so. Yeah, I think the Panthers rushing leader is.
No, I thought it was D'Angelo.
I'm looking it up.
But no, D'Angelo has burned too many bridges in Carolina. I feel like there's no way that he gets in before Jonathan Stewart. Jonathan Stewart, like, I know he went to the Giants, but he has been a big part of the Panthers organization since he's retired. You know, he's actually been there. He's been being a part of the whole, going back in time and living through the Arizona Cardinals NFC Championship game. I mean, there's a lot of, well, let me rephrase. I don't know if there's a lot of potential options, but my question, I guess, goes to this. At what point how long do we wait? Do we wait till careers are over? Obviously, right? And do we think that Greg Olsen is going to be on that list? Do we think that Cam Newton will ever be on that list? And do we do one a year, or is it 4 every 5 years?
Well,
I mean, if it's every 4 years, you have to do Pep next, right?
Yeah.
Pep has
you
to
could
be
do Pep. You could do Pep this year if you wanted to.
Yeah, really.
Per year, I could see that.
Well, I thought it had to be 4 years
That's
after.
Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame. This
then what is it?
This is
so
Ring
then
of
the
Honor.
Ring of Honor, it doesn't even matter, right? Like you can do it whenever you wanted.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think we
So
lost the stream.
by the way, Jonathan